What if I told you that one family shaped the course of American history more than any president or war hero? The Astor family, once America's wealthiest dynasty, left an indelible mark on our nation's landscape, economy, and culture. But who were they really? And how did they amass such incredible power and influence? And why are they known as America's royal family, whereas America is not a monarchy? Therefore, in today's video, we've talked about the Astor family's rise as a business tycoon and what legacy they have left behind. So, without further ado, let's begin. The beginning of the American saga. The Astor family, often referred to as America's royal family, has left an indelible mark on American history, shaping the nation's economic, social, and cultural landscape for over 2 centuries. The Astor family's wealth and business acumen laid the foundation for their royal-like status in American society. The Astor family's American saga begins with John Jacob Astor, born Johann Jakob Astor in 1763 in Waldorf, Germany. The family had French Huguenot roots, having fled to Germany after the revocation of the Edict of Nantes. John Jacob's journey from humble beginnings to becoming America's first multimillionaire is a quintessential rags-to-riches story that embodies the American dream. In 1783, following the Treaty of Paris, John Jacob Astor immigrated to the United States, arriving first in Baltimore before settling in New York City. It was here that he would lay the foundation for the Astor family's immense wealth and influence. Building an empire, the fur trade and real estate. John Jacob Astor's business intelligence was evident from the start. He began his career in the fur trade, quickly establishing himself as a dominant force in the industry. In 1808, he founded the American Fur Company, which became the first American monopoly, controlling the fur trade across North America. Astor's success in this venture was strengthened by his strategic use of political connections, including support from President Thomas Jefferson. Astor's success in the fur trade was due to several factors. He established a network of trading posts throughout the U.S. and Canada, streamlining the collection and transportation of furs. He also expanded into global markets by exporting furs to China and importing Chinese goods like silk and tea. He also leveraged political influence to pass protectionist laws that favored his business interests, such as the 1816 law barring non-U.S. citizens from owning fur businesses in U.S. territories. However, Astor's true genius lay in his ability to anticipate future trends and diversify his investments. Recognizing the potential of New York City's real estate market, he began purchasing land in the city as early as 1799. By the 1830s, Astor had shifted his focus entirely to real estate, selling his interests in the fur trade. His strategy of acquiring undeveloped land and leasing it rather than developing it allowed him to capitalize on the city's rapid growth. Astor's real estate investments were primarily concentrated in Manhattan, where he acquired significant tracts of land, including areas along the waterfront and beyond the then-existing city limits. This foresight in anticipating the city's northward expansion proved to be incredibly lucrative, laying the groundwork for the family's enduring wealth. Astor's real estate strategy was mainly purchasing land in New York City, anticipating the city's rapid expansion. He also followed the construction routes of municipal services to ensure his properties appreciated in value and acquired vast tracts of land that appreciated in value over time. At the time of his death in 1888, John Jacob Astor's fortune was estimated to be between $20 million to $25 million, making him the wealthiest person in the United States at that time. Forbes magazine calculated that his fortune would be equivalent to approximately $110 billion in today's money. Compared to his contemporaries, Astor's wealth was significant. Cornelius Vanderbilt, who died in 1877, had a wealth estimated at 187 of the U.S. Gross National Product, GNP. Also, Stephen Girard was considered one of the wealthiest individuals in the world in the 1820s, and Nathan Mayer Rothschild was one of the wealthiest individuals globally in the 1830s. While Astor's wealth was substantial for his time, it was primarily built on early American industries. Later industrialists like Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller would amass even greater fortunes as the U.S. economy expanded and diversified. Continued legacy of the Astor family. After John Jacob Astor's death in 1848, his son William Backhouse Astor Sr. emerged as the primary figure to continue the family's legacy. He inherited the majority of his father's estate and played a crucial role in expanding the family's influence. William Backhouse Astor Sr. nearly doubled the family fortune by continuing to invest heavily in New York City real estate. He built over 7 stores and residences, significantly increasing the family's wealth and influence. He contributed to the founding of the Astor Library, which later became part of the New York Public Library. This commitment to education and culture set a precedent for future generations of Astors. As the Astor family tree expanded, several key figures in the second generation after John Jacob Astor continued to build upon the family's legacy. Among the second-generation Astors, John Jacob Astor III was the most prominent. He was known as a major philanthropist. He founded the Children's Aid Society and supported various charitable causes. His efforts in philanthropy helped maintain the Astor family's social influence. In addition to him, William Backhouse Astor Jr. continued the family's real estate developments and expanded into Florida. His business acumen helped sustain the family's economic power. Together with them, Caroline Webster Schermerhorn Astor also became a talking point. She was known as the Mrs. Astor, who became a central figure in New York's high society during the Gilded Age. Her social gatherings and influence helped define the social hierarchy of the time, cementing the Astor family's status in American society. The legacy continued to evolve with subsequent generations. For example, John Jacob Astor IV, although his life was cut short by the Titanic disaster, made significant contributions to the family's business ventures. He developed iconic hotels such as the Waldorf Astoria and the St. Regis in New York City. As an inventor, he patented several devices, including a bicycle brake and a turbine engine. In addition to him, Vincent Astor was a prominent figure. He inherited a substantial portion of the family fortune and became a prominent philanthropist. He established the Vincent Astor Foundation in 1948, focusing on alleviating human misery and supporting various causes, including education, healthcare, and the arts. Then there was Brooke Astor. As the wife of Vincent Astor, she became instrumental in giving away much of the family fortune to various cultural and community service programs in New York City. She managed the Vincent Astor Foundation after her husband's death and made extensive charitable donations, particularly to the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the New York Public Library. The Astor family's influence has left an indelible mark on American history. The family played a crucial role in developing New York City's landscape and culture, influencing its growth from the late 18th century through the 20th century. Their support of cultural institutions, like the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the New York Public Library, has had a lasting impact on American cultural life. Despite a decline in direct influence, the Astor name remains significant in American culture, with their contributions to real estate, society, and philanthropy still recognized today. Scandals and secrets. Like any family, this family have had a share of scandals and secrets. The Astor family's prominence during the Gilded Age brought with it a series of social scandals and internal conflicts. Caroline Astor, known as the Mrs. Astor, and her associate Samuel Ward McAllister created the infamous 400 list, which defined New York's elite society. This list caused scandal by excluding many wealthy families, highlighting the rigid social hierarchies and prejudices of the era. Caroline Astor's rivalry with Alva Vanderbilt exemplified the intense social maneuvering of the time. Alva Vanderbilt's strategic exclusion of Caroline Astor's daughter from a grand ball forced Mrs. Astor to acknowledge the Vanderbilts socially, demonstrating the power dynamics within high society. In addition to it, internal rivalries, particularly between descendants of John Jacob Astor III and William Backhouse Astor Jr., led to public disputes. A notable example was the conflict over the title of Mrs. Astor, which resulted in William Waldorf Astor building the Waldorf Hotel next to his rival's residence. In 1890, Caroline Astor was embroiled in a scandal when 2 gowns she ordered from Paris were seized by the U.S. Customs for underreporting their value. This incident played out in the international press for 10 months, highlighting the family's extravagant lifestyle and attempts to avoid luxury duties. In addition to it, the Astor family's personal lives were often marked by controversy and tragedy. John Jacob Astor IV's marriage to 18-year-old Madeline Talmadge Force in 1911 caused significant controversy due to the 29-year age gap and its proximity to his divorce from his first wife. This scandal was compounded by their presence on the Titanic, where John Jacob Astor IV perished, leaving his young pregnant wife a widow. Current status of the Astor family. Despite all these, the Astor family, once synonymous with immense wealth and influence in American society, continues to maintain a significant presence in both the United States and the United Kingdom. However, it's important to clarify that the term Astor royal family is a misnomer. The Astors are not a royal family in the traditional sense, as they do not belong to a monarchy. However, their immense wealth, social influence, and later connections to British nobility have often led to comparisons with royalty, particularly in the context of American society. While not royalty, some branches of the Astor family have integrated into the British aristocracy. Descendants of the Astor family hold titles such as Viscount Astor and Baron Astor of Havre, indicating their elevated status within British society. These connections to British nobility, combined with their historical prominence in American high society, have contributed to the perception of the Astors as a quasi-royal family. The Astor family's current activities and public presence, while not as prominent as in their heyday, still reflect their historical significance and ongoing influence. Family members continue to move in influential political and social circles, particularly in the United Kingdom. Their connections to figures like David Cameron and the British royal family underscore their ongoing relevance in these spheres. Despite this decline, the Astor name still carries weight, and family members continue to hold positions of influence, particularly in British and American society. And with this, we wrap up this video. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you find our channel interesting, then subscribe to it. Thank you. See you in the next video.